again, the manliest thing to do is think, what kind of brokenness does that dude come from, right? What are some of the things and traumas and some of the hurts that he's dealing with that's making him act up this way, right?
He's going to learn from me all of that stuff. He's going to learn from me, not what I say, but what I do, how to be a man. So what I do know from him is that he's a sponge that is consuming everything that I'm teaching him.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What's good, beautiful people? Welcome to 2.5 Husbands, where we celebrate becoming better husbands.
It's 2.5, even though there are 3 husbands, and that's because at some point, one of us, if not all of us, was not fully the husband that we were supposed to be.
And that's why we actually come here on a weekly basis to discuss some of the issues that we face, some of the issues we are seeing around us, and we hope that the journey that we started with you and for you is going to benefit you,
and yours.
All right, dope.
Hi, my name is Avela, also known as Donovan III.
Come on.
As what?
Donovan III.
Njayam. Yeah. Is there 3 generations of your
I said AKA this way.
So my question or my little topic of discussion is, how do we go about, bettering ourselves as the current men of this generation?
Yeah.
Even though our society has alienated the idea of being a decent oak. Because, if you're being a decent gent, it's like you get taken for a...
Yes, that one.
Hey.
Yeah. Starts with a P. Yeah.
Come on now, Nwanaka.
Yeah, I feel like...
Who's got clue hell about
So yeah, I just feel like personally as a young man, I find myself getting lost because, the environment that I'm in, it heavily impacts how I go about things, and I find myself losing myself because of the factors in my environment. You know? And I found myself straying away from the actual person that I know I can be, because the person that I want to be is not necessarily as appreciated as being a...
Come on now.
Yeah. Flip, man.
Yeah. That's dope, bro.
You must respond to that.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah, that moved me a little bit.
Yeah, that's dope, bro. Cheers, brother. I think the first thing, bro, as you were asking your question, I was going to go where you landed, man. The first thing is acknowledging and identifying the kind of men that you want to be, and then identifying men who are like that, right? Because I think and it's unfortunate to call it even a gender war, because I think it's ridiculous, but in the current climate that we're in, right, and obviously the apparent gender war that's there, at least at a very broad level, there tends to be 2 groups of men, right? Again, the other group of men that you're trying to avoid, that you don't want to be like, right, who would even respond to women like, yo, man, if we trash, then one, we're going to treat you like trash, really, to prove that we are trash, right? Or we're going to dominate you or whatever so that you're in your place, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, that's not the type of dude that you want to be, right? So then there's the second group of dude that you want to be, right? Where you need to start is identify those men, hang out with them, bro, right? Find where they are, find where they hang out, put yourself in those circles, bro. Because what tends to happen is we're always looking for cues, man, all the time, right? Anyone who thinks that they've arrived, they're dead, dog, right? You're in a grave somewhere, right? You've arrived. That's where you've arrived. But as long as we're living, we're never going to arrive, man. We're always going to be picking up cues, learning. And so it's always important for us to identify key players that we want to model our lives after, and saying, how do we press into those dudes, right? Yeah, David is decent, bro, right? Like, he's a cool human. Like, I think...
Black looks up to me.
I make him a better guy, right? Like he was probably like a 5 average, if I'm being generous, right? Like, I came in his life and at least I've moved him to like a 9, right?
That encourages him when he believes these things.
I mean, look at the size of this dude's head, bro.
That guy.
Listen,
Don't laugh too much. Don't laugh too much.
I make him better, bro. So find dudes like that, dog. Find dudes like David. You know what I mean? Again, he's not a perfect dude, but the kind of dude that you want to model yourself after. I'm like, there's clear examples here, and it might be even rare to find, but here's one. I'd even encourage you tonight, man, to be like, yo, Dava, where can we grab coffee, bro? Where can we hang out? Right? When I'm done with exams, I'll finish at 12. Pull through to Rez. Let's go buy a kota and hang out, and let's just chop it up, right? But find those dudes, press into those dudes, bro, right? And then avoid again what I said earlier on, defining yourself by what you're not, right? So if you say I'm a good guy, let it be that. Don't say I'm a good guy because this other dude is rubbish, right? It's okay, bro. If that other dude is acting like the word we're not going to mention, that's right. Try and be the dude that you want to be, and pray hard and live very, very obviously and loudly, right? So that he can see that, and hopefully he will change, right? But it doesn't help us, even as men, even with the other group of men that be like, yo, these dudes better change. But it doesn't help what we're trying to change and mitigate as we live as men, right? It doesn't help if we'll continue being seen as a divided force, even if we disagree with certain dudes. It's fine, bro, right? But again, the manliest thing to do is think, what kind of brokenness does that dude come from, right? What are some of the things and traumas and some of the hurts that he's dealing with that's making him act up this way, right? And how can I heal him? How can I at least bring healing to him? How can I love him, right? By becoming the good dude that I know I can be and I desire to be, right? So I think the more we live that out, even around dudes that we would otherwise disagree with, I think the better that we would actually gain more ground, right? So for me, that's that, man. And I think there's more that could be said there, but I think first practical step, one, you've identified what kind of dude you want to be. Secondly, find those dudes. Thirdly, don't define yourself by what you're not, but live as the good dude so that you can help change other dudes around you who are quote unquote not good and not living as decent men, right?
Yeah, I think for the sake of just pushing
Being
the
awesome,
conversation.
because I'm awesome. Whatever.
Yes.
I make
You let him believe these things because
Sure.
he needs.
Sure. I need a father figure. And
I'm his dad.
Yeah.
So are you? do you wanna? Yeah. So it was you and sorry, your name again?
SK.
Does he sell answers to? Oh no, we recording. Hey, we recording. There were guys back in the day who used to do that.
Hello, my name is Sankonki,
Come on, Sanko.
also known as Quiz. I think,
Pull through, bro.
I think you might have covered aspects of my question, but then my question is, you did mention that your child is allowed to have their own different personality.
Yeah.
So my question is directed to father figures or fathers in general. So then as a father, how do you then regulate that exposure to media? For instance, let's say your kid comes back and is like, yo, dad, I find Andrew Tate very cool.
Yeah.
And I look up to him. Then how do you as a father regulate that exposure?
Yeah. It's dope, bro.
Yes. That's
So quiz. He's
Come
tall
on.
as well. Quiz. How do you regulate? Sorry, what was the question again?
So regulation to the kind of media that they're exposed to.
But he phrased it. He set it up with. Okay.
Yeah. It's an example.
Yeah. So I had answers as you spoke there. No, you attempt to answer. No, because I'm thinking about it. I had the answer right here. Now I forgot it.
So when he spoke about regulation, I just thought about how you are
Oh yeah. So yeah.
with your son. Yeah.
I think for me the biggest thing I've had to learn is this new buzzword called conscious parenting, which different people understand different things about what that means. But one of the biggest things was part of what conscious parenting is being a parent who's conscious about themselves before they teach that to their kids. So what I am in the life of my child is somebody who's gonna give him tools that he's gonna use for life. I'm gonna teach him how to regulate his emotions, particularly anger. And I don't know why this is a key emotion that is dominant in guys. I don't know if there's you guys do biomedicine and all of that. Maybe it's is he like smart? What's happening? Okay.
He's writing the quiz for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
Medulla oblongata.
so like anger, for instance, there are situations where like we as guys struggle to regulate our anger, perhaps anger towards them, frustration. When life doesn't go my way, I get ticked off with them, and then I just lose it. He's gonna learn from me all of that stuff. He's gonna learn from me, not what I say, but what I do, how to be a man. So what I do know from him is that he's a sponge that is consuming everything that I'm teaching him.
Yeah.
So that's being conscious that right now I'm hungry. Like even today, I'm hungry and I'm flipping at these kids. And like it took me, and I'm not the hero here, but it was just like a moment of realizing, I haven't eaten, and that's why I'm behaving this way.
Sure.
And we had a conversation in that moment that, listen, I just think I'm struggling right now because I'm hungry. Do you guys mind giving me a break so that I can finish giving you food, and then I'll eat, and then we'll be cool? And it was such a cool moment. So that's a teaching moment for them, that by the time they get to Andrew Tate, they've learned from me the key authority in their life, what it means to be a man. So I don't necessarily need to be worried about Andrew Tate. I cannot protect my children from consuming stuff from this world. They will do that. The other day he came back and said, so-and-so from school said the F word. And I'm like, you are 6 years old. What is the F word now? And then I had to ask him, what is the F word? Hoping that he doesn't know what he's talking about. He said the F word. And I'm like, shucks. I couldn't prevent him from taking that on. We had a conversation then of saying, okay, so now that you know that word, what does it mean for you? Like, is it the kind of word that we want to embrace? And that was a teaching moment. So, yeah, I think at some level you cannot protect your children from this world. I want to lock my daughter up until she's 35 for not coming
We
to
building
res,
a res
because
for her.
I've seen res and what happens in res. I'm like, yo. But I can't do that. I can't protect them from consuming stuff. I can but teach them and give them tools of how to interpret a life. Of course, there are things that I can protect them from. We have, like in our Xbox, just games that my son is not going to play because his brain is not developed to understand violence and all of that. So those things that I have control on, I will exercise my parental guidance on that.
Yeah.
And also learning that what I deem as appropriate for his age, sometimes these kids are advancing quick.
Yeah.
For an example, I grew up in a village like that speaker. I know my way around fire. The other day I gave him fire and it didn't click to me that this kid is growing up in the burbs. He doesn't know his way around fire, and it burned him and he cried. So
Like
all
a
that
kid who
to
grew
say,
up in
like
the
a
burbs.
kid who grew up in the burbs.
Yeah.
So all that to say, like I'm having a conversation, I'm learning my child, I'm learning his pace of development, I'm learning the fact that when I was his age, I started looking at girls and thinking, yo, this is interesting. These are interesting humans, creatures. And he's at that stage. So we need to quicken the conversations around sex, right? Faster than what I'm comfortable with. Just to have those small conversations that this is, your body is developing, you're going to start liking girls. That's okay. And become the person that he can run to for us to have those conversations.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think bottom line, you can't protect them. You can give them tools, but where you can, you would want to protect them. You can't always protect them, but where you can, do put those measures. But your biggest job is to give them tools to become better humans.
Yeah. I think the same principle. Sorry, bro. I forgot your name now. Yeah. DV the third, right? So I think the same principle applies, bro, to your question, Quiz. Where Andrew Tate becomes attractive, right? Because his dad is not attractive, right? So Oakhile will be attracted to Andrew Tate because his dad is not attractive. And so how do we prevent him being attracted to Andrew Tate's teaching, right? His philosophy, his way of life. Well, David has to model what an attractive life of a man looks like before him. It's the same thing that they do with people who work at banks. They don't teach them to identify the fake note, but they teach them and thoroughly teach them how to identify the real note, right? So when a fake one comes, they can spot it from a distance, quick, because they've studied the real thing over and over and over and over. And so what are we going to do to help regulate our kids' exposure? We need to constantly be the real thing over and over and over and over again, so that by the time they go out in the world, they're like, yo, man, I could see this thing, right? It's not as attractive as my dad, bro. Right? Have you seen how my dad treats my mom? That's what I want to be, bro. Right? Have you seen how my dad spends money? Right? We don't do it perfectly, but have you seen how he spends money? Have you seen how my dad treats other men? Have you seen how my dad walks into a grocery store, doesn't walk around like he's gonna be served, even though he's buying, but he's greeting the people at the tills, right? When we go pour petrol, have you seen how my dad winds down his window, actually has a conversation with the petrol attendant, right? He cares for people. Have you seen? I remember when my dad was still present, right? And he'd drive me to school, probably like grade 4, right? And he would stop on the side of the road, pick up strangers, bro, right? Looking back, I'm like, yes, this dude was risking our lives. We would have been killed by a bunch of strangers, right? But as a kid, that's not what I thought. I just thought, dang, this dude is generous, man. When I grow up, that's what I want to be, right? When I grow up, I want to see people who are homeless, who are stranded, and I want to help them like my dad. So when I grew up and then I saw a dude who was like, yeah, no, screw poor people, let them live however they want to live, I was like, yo, man, that's not attractive. Why? Because I saw what the real thing is when I was young, right? And so for us, what's going to help regulate them is how we live truthfully before them, right? Having honest conversations, teaching them what the real thing is. So again, those are the tools. By the time they go out into the world, they have enough tools, bro, to be like, I can see what's fake, I can see what's real. That I don't want, this I want, because I've seen its results. I've heard about how you guys live here. Yeah, this thing I don't want, man, of one night stands and all of this stuff. Look at how happy my mom is, right? Why? Because my dad was always present, right? Look at how my dad spoke to me about sex. Now I'm at res, and I hear a bunch of other dudes having one-night stands, living however they want to live. Do I want to have a bunch of ex-girlfriends by the time I'm done with my degree? Hell no. I want to be like my dad, bro, right? And that's going to take us exposing them to the real thing over and over and over and over again, bro, right? So, yeah.
I'm not sure how we're doing with time, but there were 2 questions.
Where we at with time, Grace?
Bohosi and then Lukele.
My question is hefty. Obviously, the landscape of our society has changed.
Just keep the mic.
Yeah. Sorry. The landscape of our society has changed. Not quite a bit, a lot. Right. Just to give a bit of context, I think it started with men. In fact, I believe obviously men didn't do what they're supposed to do. Yeah. Women at a certain point have to protect themselves and their kids as well. And so then obviously they have to fend for themselves, right? And I believe really, and I could be wrong here, that gave birth to, or rather that led the way to feminism. And then from the mainstream feminism, and then how the feminism wave is now women now then tie independence to something totally different. Sure. Then we could refer maybe to sexual conduct, because they dress a certain way, then they identify that as being independent, taking ownership of whatever. Boss moves. And now today we have what they call baddies. Right? And most of us, I think obviously, then we're attracted to that, obviously.
So then
Are you though?
How do we, pardon?
Are you though?
How am I?
Are you really attracted to them though?
Well, physically, I
or as
guess.
David
then
would
physically,
say,
I can
we're
yeah.
infatuated.
But that's the first thing, right?
Yeah.
You see someone's physical qualities before anything else.
Yeah, sure.
So then, what? So because of that, then obviously, I guess the dating scene has also changed.
Yeah,
we end up, having, being in relationships with somebody that does not then have the proper principles, values, qualities, so on and so forth. So what principles, values, and qualities do we need to look at if we want, long-standing marriage?
Yeah.
And also, what quality or principles, values, and qualities do we need to embody to be proper husbands?
Sure. Yeah, that is hefty, bro.
Sorry?
Yeah, bro, please. Go ahead, bro.
My name is Prince, and
Look at
okay, I think to answer, because I also have a question, to answer Bohosi's question, if I don't break.
Nah, you good, bro.
Okay. First off, what's most important is putting God first, right? So I believe that if maybe we brought together as a couple, right? If we put God first in our relationship, if ever one has to walk away from rather the deserving, it's just the process of maybe they're not meant to be for me in that present moment, because it might be that you're doing good, for them not so much, right? So God actually takes them away from you to protect you. You might not see it in that line or in that vision, because nothing ever really makes sense made from God, right? It doesn't need to make sense for you to understand, but then believe in the process, right? So I feel like, in all honesty, God first before anything actually makes the relationship prevail. And did I answer your question? So do I ask my question as well?
Yeah, you can, bro. And then we'll add to your answer. And then
my
answer your
question was, as exciting it could be to get married at a very young age, like, what actually instills the motivation to keep going? Like, I don't know. Like, what actually makes you motivated to want to do more for this person? you know? So, yeah.
Stove?
Sure. Perhaps going back to, didn't we do an episode on what to look for in a?
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
So watch that, but just maybe character. So I think, Lukela said God. I think for me it was that. First of all, when you said a baddie, my daughter the other day, we were watching YouTube videos of what is that dance challenge? What is that? What did he say?
The ceiling.
No, not the ceiling, not the ceiling challenge. That other one where they do, what's this DJ? What's her name? Anyway, but she was seeing like dance videos, and in her little mind, she's 3, she connected that this is like wretched behavior, but she was drawn to it. I was like, what? So she said to me, Papa, I want to be a bad lady. And I was like, Ma, what?
I want to be a bad lady.
Anyway, so as dudes, we are attracted. I think it was, like you said, physically, we drawn to those ladies because they pimp themselves, they do all the right things to outwardly adorn themselves. This man here, who's our camera guy, is from Uganda.
He's a cinematographer.
Yeah, he's amazing. I went to his wedding in Uganda there, and the preacher that they talked about inner beauty. that outward beauty fades, and that's the reality. Gravity always wins. The Baddie that you meet is gonna be a grandma with that tattoo that says, what is it gonna say?
Conka.
What? Bad female something. So beauty fades, but inner beauty can be cultivated, and it becomes, when you're married to somebody over the years, when life has given them the blows, for them to still stand and for them to still just become more beautiful. And I think that's one of the things I find attractive about my wife, in as much as I physically still find her attractive after 2 children. Inner beauty is one thing that I still find in her. I find in her a struggle to still love Jesus, but another struggle that says, flip, I just want to give up on this thing because of life. Life gets to you. Life throws punches at you. And I think you want somebody who's anchored on, I think for me, I don't want to shove, we're not here to shove our worldview on you guys, because we all come from different spaces. But for us, Christ being the center of that, he's also the motivation that I think has kept me wanting to pursue this woman, because I bet you there's times where I just wanted to give in and give up. I think also guys are wired for, there's an instinct in us, biological instinct, to impregnate as many women as we want. And I think part of being a man is channeling that to one person.
Sure.
That's not answering questions. But yeah, like for me, the thing that keeps me wanting to pursue one woman, even when I want out of it, is Christ, is knowing that what he deems good for me is not always what I think is good for me. Which means that there are things where I'm like, man, I think an extra side chick would be nice to this equation. But he says that that's not a good plan, and I know it isn't, because I've seen men who've gone that route whose lives are just in shambles. So I think that's the thing, and knowing one of the things that marriage has done for me is shape me as a person. That the more and more I'm committed to this relationship, I'm learning perseverance. I'm learning that when you give it your go, you will gain the rewards. That when you pursue and persist, even when times are tough, you will gain the rewards. If you're gonna go into business, I bet you those are the same. That's the same sort of muscle that you're gonna need to exercise. And so marriage shapes you to become more resilient and not just give in when the going gets tough. And I think, leaning on somebody who's higher than me, who's more powerful than me. In my case, Christ.
Yeah, bro. And I think obviously you started off your question, with referencing feminism and the various waves of feminism, and even with first, second, and third wave of feminism, we can clearly see that even within that movement, second and third became reactions. Right, so second wave became a reaction to the first wave. Third wave became a reaction to the second and the first wave. Right, where the third wave now, even with I'll use the word quintessential feminists, will look at third wave feminists and say, you guys are not what we would define as true feminists, right? So and I don't want to speak for third wave feminists, but at least I know some of the tenets that they believe. So one is, again, how do we deconstruct the family? How do we redefine definitions? So a man is no longer a man, or a husband is no longer a husband, or that role or that position is not just designated or isolated to just a man. So families could be whatever we define, right? And once we do that, we're obviously breaking the very building block of what a society is, and then we'll end up with a mess. But I say all of that to say, again, let's acknowledge that all of these are reactions. And so when we go back to first wave, they were also reacting to how, and you rightly said, to how men were behaving, right? So if we then go back and trace what the issue is, again, it's dudes, right? So if dudes would behave right, then women don't have to react to our bad behavior, right? but instead they would respond to our good behavior, right? And so I think, again, to everything that we've said, we at some point, man, all of us will live from reaction. So you had a dad who was absent, you will live from a place where you react against that. So again, you'll end up trying to define yourself by what you're not. And so I say all of that to say, one, again, there's reactions in all these movements. They're also reacting to how men behaved. So as men, maybe the first thing we need to do is acknowledge that a baddie, at least I would say, right? I would say 98% of the time, the baddie just did not wake up and become a baddie.
Yeah.
Right? She didn't wake up and decide, hey, today I think the best lifestyle is just to be a baddie, right? What brokenness has she dealt with? What absent father, right, was not there to teach her how to be a woman who would not just adorn herself with outward stuff, but would have inner beauty, right? What kind of family does she come from, bro, where things are tough, right? We've probably seen, right, a lot of the stuff that's happening. There's a particular podcast that we're not going to give airtime to, but somebody got on that show, did some stuff that was wild on air, right? But when you hear that girl's story, you're like, dang, like your life was messed up, bro, right? Where was the father in your life, bro, who would look after you, nurture you, protect you, root you, ground you, right? Give you confidence so that you don't have to go find fulfillment in other men, right? Because you found it in God, you found it in your dad, bro, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, we both have daughters, right? And again, going back to the questions that were asked, man, we want to teach them what the real thing is. So by the time they get to res, they're not impressed by you, bro. They're not impressed by the fact that you're like, yo, pop, right? Or I'm gonna take you down to McDonald's. My dad took me to McDonald's every Friday, bro.
Friday.
Who are you to try and take me to McDonald's, bro? Right? Yo, I'm gonna love you, dog. You know, yo, I got Riz, I got whatever the thing is. And she'll look at you dead in the eyes, bro, and she'll say to you, bro, when you say, I'm going to love you, she'll say, have you seen what 40-year-old love looks like? I was raised by that, dog. I grew up in that, right? So I say that to say, let's also be empathetic. Let's not just think the baddie just woke up, decided to be a baddie, right? Let's think, Jassy, man, what is she hurting from? What father scar is she trying to cover, bro, right? And now, that's why I asked you when you said we're attracted to them. I'm like, are we really, though, attracted? Or it's just an infatuation, it's an interest. We want to obviously get in between those legs because we're seeing how they present it, right? So are we truly attracted to them? And I say that because even earlier on, when I used the word attraction to say that, Achille will be attracted to how his father lived in front of him, some of us had reactions to that word. But I use it intentionally, bro, because attraction goes beyond just seeing how the ass is shaped, right? Attraction goes skin deep, bro. Attraction is like, I see who you are, right? With all the limited knowledge I have and the experience I have, but I can see past all of that stuff that you've put on, and I can truly see who you are. So are we truly attracted to them? I would say we're not, bro. We want to have fun. We want to see the stuff. And if that baddie, again, is shaped by all the brokenness in her life that she made that decision, best believe when you want to tear that thing up again, you adding on to that brokenness, bro, right? So I'm going to just sleep with this baddie for 2 seconds. I'm going to have my thing. I'm going to leave.
2 seconds.
Yeah, sure, because that's what's going to happen. She's going to destroy you. Anyway, but you adding on, bro. You adding on to a brokenness. You another dude who's going to do stuff and bounce, right? And then, yeah.
The few that get married, the guys,
Yeah.
they never marry the parties.
Yes.
Wow, yeah.
Yes, you'll find dudes like that, exactly, right? So dudes who will say they'll get married, they'll play around with the baddie. But when the dude is like, yo, man, I actually want to get married, they like, yo, you're not serious. I'm not going to marry you, right? Why? Because they know what else is going to work, which obviously goes to what David was speaking about, character, loving God, etc., etc. Dudes will have fun with the baddie. Again, you're not attracted to her. You'll have fun. But when you want to get serious and you want to build a life, you'll probably leave her and go find somebody who doesn't look like that, who doesn't exude that. Because here's the thing, bro. I'll tell you this now for free, right? Like, no husband, bro, at least husbands that I've dealt with, bro, don't want their wives to just walk around in jail parading their stuff, right? Right? The Bible tells us, bro, that when we get married, my wife's body is my body, right? And my body is her body. So she has rights over my body, bro. I have rights over her body, right? I remember we had this conversation with my wife earlier on. She was like, okay, so, you know, I wanna go wear bikini or whatever. I was like, bikini? I'm a dog, right? And at that point, I'm not like, I'm a dictator, I shed my heart, bro. Like, yo, man, if you wear a bikini, right, that's fine. And we go to the beach, we could do that. But I could tell you now what's gonna happen when a dude looks at you and I'm there, right? I'm not trying to stand here and be like, oh, you need to wear whatever I say. Again, I just want to tell you how I feel, how that stuff is going to make me feel as a dude, seeing somebody look at you and they're busy flipping you left, right, upside down in their head, right? And they treating you like a piece of meat, right? When I see more than that, again, attraction, when I see who you are, I see your scars, I see your beauty, your failures, your dreams, your hopes, I see all of that. But when you're walking around on the beach with a bikini, that dude is not seeing all that stuff. And that stuff is going to break me because he's not attracted to you. He just wants to have fun with a piece of toy, right? That's going to break me, bro, right? And similar to her, right? Like, again, told you earlier on, I like dressing, bro. There's times where I'm like, yo, man, I'm going to kill this thing when I wear this. And my wife is like, yeah, I know there's people who are going to look at you and think you yummy. So maybe let's not do that, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. Dope, bro, right? And even if she won't say that on the moment, but I'm like, yo, when I dress, let me be cognitive about how this is going to make her feel, right? If she sees other people undressing me in their heads, et cetera, right? So I said a bunch of things, but let's be empathetic of them, bro, and think about the brokenness that they're going through. And then when we want to sit down with somebody and get married to them, bro, I'm like, yeah, man, like values are truly important, bro. And I would say that's why you become friends with somebody. Become friends with somebody, bro, you know? And you might see somebody and you think, yo, this is cool, this is a done deal, I'm going to marry this person. Like, just give yourself 2 years, man. Just be friends. Be friends, bro. Find out, yo, what makes you tick? What do you like, bro? What are your values, you know? When you're pissed off, how are you? Go to her house. If she has a dad, right, fortunately, see how she is with her dad, right? If she doesn't respect the dad, just talks to the dad, however, best believe, bro, you can be the most handsome thing ever. She's going to do the same thing to you, bro, right? But if she loves her dad, right, listens to her dad, obeys her mom, is there, is respectful, best believe she's going to replicate that. Not perfectly, again, but she's going to live that. See how she is with her friends. See how she is with kids, if you want to have kids, right? Next thing, you like, oh, man, this chick is amazing. You get married, and there you find out she's clapping your kids left, right, and center, bro. But she's been clapping other people's kids while she was, you know, not unmarried. But see how she is. Give yourself time. But that also, again, that's why I said to you, cats, you are men now. So be selfless now. Don't think, yo, man, I want to quickly just, you know, get married, do this thing. 2 years, bro. Just be friends. It's okay, right? Dating is messy. We all know that. It's okay, right? Everyone else is going to be like, yo, you need to date. You don't have to, right? 2 years, be friends with this person. After 2 years, marry them. You didn't date them. Marry them, bro, right? That's next level. But you gave yourself time to see them, to know who they are, what they value, what they hate, how they treat other people. I know a girl who was dating this dude, and they went grocery shopping. And this dude basically treated the women at this particular supermarket like dirt, bro, right? And at that point, I was like, man, if that's not a red flag, I don't know what is, bro. If this guy can treat people who serve him like this, what is he going to do to you, right, when nobody's looking? And you can do that without dating somebody. You just observe them and you see them. And then once you're like, yo, man, I think this is cool. Let's do that thing and let's get married, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, you had a question. I forgot what your question was, but
I think it was about persevering in what gives you the motivation to persevere. I'm not sure if you're happy with. You want more take on it. My friend tends to
talk a lot.
And I think the time is
passionate.
As we would say.
Yeah.
I think we can have some concluding thoughts.
Yeah.
And then and then close off and hand over to my man Fardeen. Fardeen, smile, bro. You don't look happy.
That's dope. Your motivation should be God, nothing else, bro. Stay there. Your wife is gonna change. She's gonna change, bro.
Yep.
You are gonna change. She's gonna hate you at some point. You're gonna hate her. You're gonna dislike each other. But that's part of the beauty of what marriage is. How do you overcome all of that? How do you come out of that? And again, if God is your anchor, you know, like we here now, dog. Obviously, we're recording the stuff, so our wives are gonna see it. But we could be at Konka right now. They don't know that. The only thing that they're trusting is that we love God. That's it, right? They're trusting that we fear God enough that we're not gonna be stupid. We're gonna pack all of this equipment, go home. But we can get in the car now and be like, yeah, no, somebody at the church called, you know, we accompanying Muruti, somebody died, and then we go to coffee, go pick up girls. We could, but we're not going to do it because we fear God, bro. And that's the only thing they're resting on, right? So let that be your anchor, your motivation, because the stuff is going to do this, bro. But if you're planning on being there till you die, let that be your motivator. Sometimes sex is going to be here, sometimes it's going to be here. Finances will be here, sometimes they're here. Sometimes kids are great, sometimes you're like, why did I even give birth to these bastards? Right? It's rough, right? But the thing that will remain is, okay, let's go back to God, man. Because that doesn't change, right? And if she trusts and loves God, push her towards that, and hopefully she's pushing you as well. You know what I mean? Yeah. I feel like we have to take that question at the back and then we can close with concluding stuff.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does
And
he
I-
not have a nickname?
And I think Bukhosi needs to drop some bars for us before we leave.
Yeah. Did you guys know that this guy also has some bars? And there's one that he has called False Sunshine. Because when you were describing those things, I was like, yo, that would be cool.
I don't have
That-
bars, bro.
You got.
I don't have.
Yeah, no, he must end it off with.
I'm an R&B singer.
Hello, everyone. My name is Percy, and I have a question. Like,
Yeah.
all this marriage and Baddie talk. My question is, since you guys lived a life,
Yeah.
and you made mistakes, you know, there were, you know, everything. I was asking what financial advices you guys have for your past selves,
Yeah.
and for us youngings. So for like financial, how to be financially smart.
Yeah.
That's my question.
It's dope. It's dope.
Assuming that we are.
Yeah, we are baddies when it comes to finances.
Financially, I'm stuffed up.
It's tough to set up.
Hey man, you made mention that like something to the effect of we make mistakes, and I think if I look at it, I'm in a season of not being in a good manager of my money, and part of it is. So I would say to you, stop trying to chase the Instagram life. And I think this is what someone said to me, or said at a bachelor's party. He said, live life with your wife at your own pace. And I think we live in a society where there's a lot of pressure to go to Bali for holiday, drive such and such a car, all of those things. So there's pressure in middle class life to live the life that you can't afford. I think to just be honest, and I think the key word for tonight, which I think I want to conclude with, is building, that it takes time to build. And sometimes you're not going to have the things that you need. Sometimes it will be that maybe the Bali holiday can be in 5 years, 10 years. Don't fall into the pressure of trying to live that now. And I think wives and women seem to be more drawn to that. And I think your temptation as a husband will be trying to provide that life for them, even though you can't now provide it for them. So just avoiding to live the life that you cannot afford. And whether you married or not, the temptation cuts across everybody. You're going to want to drive a GTI with whatever money you have. And that's why we have the running joke of mid-range guys who drive a GTI, you stay in a flat, but you just don't have furniture. And that's because you want to impress people. That's because you want to live the Instagram life. So just finding a sense of, I don't need to impress anyone. I will live at my own pace. That's going to go a long way in helping you make the right financial decisions as you build towards growing your career, as you build towards growing your house, to do that. That it's okay to stay in one place when you are building up to staying in a bigger place. Do not live beyond your means just so that your friend, you can invite them to your place and say, look at what I've done. That's not, And the temptation to do that is quite strong in our generation. So I would say just avoiding those temptation. And part of it is just getting off of Instagram, because it puts a lot of pressure on us to do that. And by Instagram, I mean the life that is out there on social media, in whatever media that we consume.
Yeah.
That everyone can afford going out, restaurants, like
every day.
No, like we just can't. In South Africa, very few people can do that. Even those with money, guys with money, I've seen that they quite frugal with how they spend.
That's why they have money.
Sometimes you just must say, I can't afford this.
Yeah, bro. There's many things that destroy men, but two prominent ones, and I use that adjective intentionally again, because there's many things that would destroy us, but two prominent things: sex and money. Right? Wars are started from sex. Wars are started from money. And I think realizing the power that those two things have. Right? Sex is a very powerful thing. It will destroy you if it's not used correctly. So again, we didn't use that illustration of a fireplace, but sex and money, I would say equally. It's a fire. When it's in a fireplace, say pakat kwembawula, it works. It gives warmth. It gives light. Right? It's used to cook, so we can nourish ourselves through fire. But when you take fire and put it on this couch, burns. When you take fire and put it on your thighs, it destroys. When you take fire and put it on your head. So money and sex need to be in their proper place so that power serves us correctly, right? Many people misquote the Bible and say that money is evil. The Bible doesn't say that, right? In fact, the Bible rightly acknowledges that money is a good gift from God, and it can afford us a lot of freedoms, right? And hear the word I'm using. Money does not offer you freedom. It offers you freedoms, right? The freedom that we need, right? Whenever we feel like we're not complete, we're not whole. My friend likes to speak about belonging, which is a big thing. Most of us search for belonging, right? Or in David's words, we hustle for belonging. The reason why we do that, right? It's because we think, so when we do that through money, rather, we think that money can give us belonging. Money can give us the freedom that we long for the lack of wholeness that we experience. Money's not going to do that. Sex is not going to do that, right? I believe God will do that. Jesus will do that for you. He'll make you whole. He'll make you complete. But money can afford you certain freedoms. Small letter F, right? So if you have money and you decide we can go to Italy tomorrow, money can afford you that freedom. Money can afford you the freedom of saying, I'm not going to put my kid in the village school, but I'm going to put them in the private school.
There's nothing wrong with the village school.
There's nothing wrong with it. But again, if you don't have the money, you don't have the freedom to decide between that. Right? Money can afford you the freedom of saying, hey, I want to go shop at H&M and I don't want to go shop at Mr. Price. Can give you freedoms, small f, right? But it's not going to give you freedom, right? If you feel broken, if you feel like there's a hole in your heart, if you feel like you're incomplete, if you feel like you don't have belonging, money's not going to do that for you, right? But again, Jesus will. So there's good things that we can get from money. So it's understanding that money should be a servant. Money should never be your master, right? But very, very rarely as men do we acknowledge that. We tend to become too prideful so that we don't actually admit that, right? Why? Again, we want to up each other, right? We want to show who's more boss, who has more zeros on their bank account, right? And then money becomes your master, bro. And when it's your master, you're going to work hard for it, right? Yeah. Money will whip you over and over, bro, right? Now you're a dad, right? And money will say, remember, we need to wake up at 3 because I don't want to let David up me, right? I bought a Discovery. David now is going to buy 2 Discoveries. So I'm going to wake up at 3 a.m. so that I can work to buy 4 Discoveries so that I can be more of a man than him, right? It's dope. You're going to wake up at 3 a.m. By the time it hits 5 p.m., you're tired, your kids come back to school. Who's suffering? Them, right? Why? Because you are a slave that's working for a different master, right? And that master is going to steal you from your kids. That master is going to steal you from your family. And that master is going to steal you from becoming the leader, right? In the community, in the society, in the groups that you are in. So don't let it become a master, bro. Let money be your servant. Let money be your slave, right? Tell money, this is how you're going to work for us. You're going to work for me, right? And when I say I'm not working because I feel like you're taking me in a different direction, I'm not going to do that, right? But again, you need a master over you because you cannot just rule yourself. And you can only be a master of money if you have a master over you, right? And again, that master, bro, I believe is God. If God is ruling over you, then you can have, again, the power and the ability to say, this is a good gift. I'm going to use it in its proper context. I'm not going to take it out because if I take it out, it's going to burn me. If I take this thing out from serving me, it needs to provide a roof for me, I need to buy a car, it's dope. I need to provide for my kids, there's clothes on our back, that's dope, right? We have preferences. You want certain kinds of clothes, but again, you need to understand if money is your servant, then there's things, again, going back to a man who is selfless. You can say to yourself, I'm not going to be selfish, try and use this thing so that I can get all the preferences that I have and satisfy all the preferences and desires that I have. Because you will slowly become a slave and it will become a master. So you'll be a selfless man and say, yo man, it's cool. We're not gonna get the A-class. We'll get the Toyota, right? Or we'll get a Polo Vivo. That's fine. Why? Because I know my heart. If I start buying a Discovery, I'm gonna want 3 and I'm gonna want Viano or whatever, the Vito, and then next thing I'm a slave to this thing, right? So I think remember that you have power, man. Don't let that thing become your master. Let it become a servant. Yeah. Build well. That's
Amen.
the word.
That's the word.
Yeah. That's
and I
dope,
think we'll. You normally close, but I think we'll end it there. Thank you so much for inviting us, guys.
Yeah, man.
I do think this calls for another conversation because I think there were more stuff to chop up, and we are available. Fardin, if you guys sign a petition, we come in next Monday. Peace.
Yeah. So, and we would be amiss to say, check out 2.5, man. Subscribe. More stuff like this. These are the conversations we have every Wednesday. We drop this thing, man. So please tune into that, man. 2.5.
Peace.
Bukhosi still needs to rap. You need to drop bars, bro.